Hey, hi, hello. Welcome to Diana Emerson. Today, we're listening to Who Killed Sonia? This is Crime Beat.
Good evening, I'm Anthony Robards. This is Crime Beat. Tonight, a mother trying to piece together her daughter's final moments.
Well, they said we find your daughter's car and there's blood on it.
Within the vehicle was Sonia's nursing identification.
Does it make sense that this could happen to your daughter?
Absolutely.
At this point, we're preparing the family and ourselves for the worst.
Where is she? What we're going to find her?
And now, here's Crime Beat reporter Catherine McDonald with Who Killed Sonia?
She was really happy. And she really was pushing her. She was really happy. Oh, she could achieve anything. When she put herself to something, she would just go for it. And she loved traveling. Um, she loved reading. She loved children.
Sonia Farashin was Michelle's eldest daughter, a pediatric nurse. Sonia had just turned 42.
She loved birthday, and it's too bad because her last birthday, it didn't turn out so good. We didn't choose the right restaurant, let's put it that way. It was not very good.
The call came on a Monday, a month and a half after that birthday dinner. It was the police.
Well, they said, we find your daughter's car, and there's blood on it. And I said, did she have an accident? It's the way we talk, like, well, we're looking for her too. She's not at your house, and I said, no.
When did you last talk to Sonia?
The day before,
How was she? What do you believe might have happened?
I believe nothing. I just the wife was very sick.
After years working at various hospitals, Sonia had started a new job at a pharmaceutical company. But that Monday morning, she never showed up. Her family had just seen Sonia the day before. How was she on Sunday?
Excellent.
Sonia's mother remembers the last time she saw her daughter slightly differently.
And she was in a kind of a funny mood.
Sonia had gone to see her parents and her brother Viv at their home in Kleinburg, Ontario. She lived a short drive away in Orangeville.
And Vivi said, one comes to see you. They all time together, those two. And she said, I think I'm going to go back home and I'm going to study my French because she just hadn't started a new job. And so that was it.
Police were first alerted to a suspicious vehicle parked downtown by Orangeville's Alexandra Park.
So this is the location here where her vehicle was found that morning, Monday morning, on the 30th of August.
Sean Glassford is with the Ontario Provincial Police. He's the lead investigator on the case. Along with his fellow officers, he often returns to this spot.
By the positioning of the vehicle, it looks like somebody probably drove in from this direction here, wheeled in, parked in behind here. Whoever it was took off. Blood's obvious. Anybody looking at the car would have seen the blood on the back of the bumper area, and there's some on the door handle. Within the vehicle was Sonia's nursing identification. So the officers thought maybe she was next door at a business. So, being optimistic, they hoped that was the case. She wasn't. And from here, the license plate gave them Sonia's address, and then they go over to her home to check on her well-being.
After finding Farashin's car, police came directly here to the missing woman's townhouse, less than a kilometer away, where they found the garage door open and bloodstains on the stairs and front door.
We're very concerned for her safety at this point, and our primary focus right now is to find her.
Is there any reason that you think someone would want to hurt your daughter?
No, because I don't see Sonia having any enemy there.
You said she called you every night before bed.
She always, if there was nobody in the house, if she had company, she won't call. But when she's alone, she calls. She always calls. And she didn't call on the Sunday. Somebody had to be there that night.
Coming up, Sonia's parents aren't the only ones questioned by police, and Sonia's mother shares new information. Sonia Varashin's car is found covered with blood and left in a parking lot. But the 42-year-old is nowhere to be found. Her mother suspects someone was with her the night she went missing. Now back to Catherine McDonald with Who Killed Sonia.
As you can tell, when you look around, it's a very close little neighborhood. Townhouses. Sonia's home is right here. There is a division between her place and the neighbors, but it's a quiet little community.
When officers arrived that day in August 2010, what did they see?
First thing they would have seen would have been the blood on that step, and that would have been the first sign that something was wrong.
Was there any sign of forced entry?
No sign of forced entry.
Can you say where in the house there was a sign of a struggle? I think you didn't say struggle, but something had happened.
Well, if we walk a little bit over here, I can give you an idea from the outside. Sonia's bedroom is right there, right above. Her bedroom is facing the road, and there was evidence actually throughout the house, starting in the bedroom. It was extremely violent. I would say that Sonia didn't stand a chance, and obviously Sonia was brought out this door, over these steps, and taken from the scene.
Police announced there may have been a witness. They had surveillance video from the area where Sonia's car was found. The video showed a minivan speeding around the nearby park and then through the parking lot. It was captured around 4 a.m. the night Sonia disappeared. But the glimmer of hope was fleeting. When the driver was located, he told police he had not seen anything. And according to the OPP, he was never a suspect. Police turned to Sonia's neighbors for help. What kind of questions are they asking?
If I heard any screeching tires and any strange coughs. That's all.
Did you hear anything?
No.
One neighbor, too distraught to go on camera, tells me his niece was awakened around 2:30 Monday morning by a number of screams. Then about 15 minutes later, she heard the sound of a trunk slamming and tires screeching.
I don't feel safe because he could still be around and he could take anybody at any time.
Well, we did do a very intensive canvass of not only this little area here, but all the other side streets, the routes that somebody would have taken driving out of here. As you know, driving in here, it's a little bit of a maze. It's kind of a hard place to find. Unless you know it's here, you're not gonna find this place.
As police looked for Sonia and a motive, the family put on a brave face, struggling to make sense of the situation. Does it make sense that this could happen to your daughter?
Absolutely. There was absolutely nothing where she could come home. That's all that I want. That's all.
We're always going to maintain hope, but at this point we're preparing the family and ourselves for the worst.
The search spread out into the surrounding areas. Police asked homeowners to check their properties.
If they wanted to, especially in the wee hours of the morning and, under cover of darkness, the probably is places to definitely put someone and hide them well enough that they wouldn't find them for a while, if ever.
We hear things behind us all the time, and what sounded like a gunshot to me, so I did actually phone in a report yesterday, so
Thinking it might be related.
could be related, yeah.
Knowing time was of the essence, some residents wish they could do more.
I think a lot of people in Orangeville would go out and search, considering how small this town actually is.
And your mom called and they said they didn't need help?
Yeah, and then they just hung up the phone on her, actually.
Some community members wanted to help with that search for Sonia.
Right.
Why didn't you take them up on that?
Well, we did. We actually, in media releases, asked people to check the properties, look for anything that's out of place or strange. When initially we couldn't find Sonia, that's what we did.
But with every passing hour, there was less of a chance they'd find Sonia alive. That next week, the searching was going on. I was there. It was a very, very upsetting time because we didn't know what had happened or where she was. What was that like for you?
Oh, I knew she was gone. I knew then. But now it was like, where is she? When we're going to find her?
Police were also searching for evidence, including a cream-fitted bedsheet and comforter, both bloodstained, taken from Sonia's bedroom.
There was a disposal of biological evidence, perhaps, or the bedding was just a convenient way of concealing her body for removal from the house. So we're asking that anybody who knows anybody that came home on Monday with unexplained blood on their clothing or their footwear, contact the police.
The working theory at this time was that Sonia likely knew her killer. She was attacked in her home, then transported somewhere using her car. The car was then ditched downtown. Sonia's mother says the family did everything they could to help investigators, starting that very first day when Sonia's car was discovered, when they were called into the police station to give statements.
We got all interrogated one by one.
It wasn't just Sonia's parents who gave statements to police.
So we went out with this guy, which seems to be a nice guy, and he was interrogated too.
She met Ian, and for her it was my boyfriend.
The couple had dated for over a year. They'd met online on a dating site.
She really wanted a boyfriend. She wanted to get married. She wanted a little house and she wanted children. And it's not like she had a big group, like, friend and things like that. When she started to go out with Ian, it's pretty well was Ian and Sonia.
That last Sunday, right before Sonia went missing, Michelle says Sonia hadn't called her right before going to bed like she usually did, but she had called earlier when she first got home.
She called and she said, I talked to Ian. No, I talked to Ian. I don't know if she stopped at the house or it was on the phone. And he was very upset because there was people who come in the morning. They were going to get some furniture and he was not very happy because it was supposed to take more. He was hoping they'd get more, but it didn't take very much. That was my last time I talked to her.
Ian was upset, she said. Michelle says Sonia's boyfriend was selling off his furniture because he had decided to move back home to England. The couple was breaking up.
I think it was very upsetting for her, very much, because he had lied to her. It took her a while before she found out he had a wife and 2 kids. And he had told her to not say nothing to us. Why?
Sonia's boyfriend was separated from his wife. Friends say Sonia knew about the wife and kids from the start, or at least fairly early on in the relationship. But they agree that Sonia was upset that the man she had fallen in love with was leaving her. Still, Sonia's mother, Michelle, had her own theory.
He tried to say to us he was going back to his sister, but he was not going back to his sister. He was going back with his wife. So he was trying to cover up there too.
The grisly discovery was made just before 9 this morning when a dog walker came across some remains on the secluded stretch of road in Caledon.
It's not strange to see a dead animal in the ditch. You'll get heavy putrid smells around here, so that's not something strange.
People dump garbage here sometimes, and we have to pick it up. So I don't see anything suspicious or anything like that.
It had been a week since Sonia had gone missing. No charges had been laid, and no suspects named. Police had mounted a massive search in and around the town, but it stopped short of searching in nearby Caledon, 12 kilometers to the east of Orangeville. There is a sense of sadness here in Orangeville after police confirmed late this afternoon what many had feared, that human remains found over the weekend nearby are in fact those of Sonia Verashin. What began as a missing persons case is now a homicide investigation.
Let's go over there and have a look.
It was in dark. It was at night. You would think that somebody brought her here. They're familiar with this area, this general area. As you know, driving out here, it took a little bit of time, and yeah, it's quiet. Not which is contrary to what happened at the house. Dropping the car off, driving the car around. Nobody's out here to see somebody.
But was there any significance to this location?
I don't know what the significance of this place is. It may be significant to the killer.
Did you ever find a weapon?
I don't want to get into the evidence. I don't want to discuss anything about that.
There was one piece of evidence that police were willing to divulge. A distinctive X pattern sole print found at one of the crime scenes.
A friend, co-worker, or spouse will hold the key to solving this crime.
The work boots were believed to be a men's size 10 or 11 and purchased at Mark's Work Warehouse. The manager of the local store estimated they had sold hundreds of pairs each year. By this time, Sonia's townhouse was no longer an active crime scene, and her family was allowed in to start gathering up their daughter's belongings. Her mother, Michelle, says she immediately noticed something was missing, and she asked one of the officers about it. The OPP will not verify this account, saying it is not appropriate to discuss evidence. But Michelle says the woman was with victims' services.
The first thing I saw, and I said, "Where's her nightgown?" And she said she had it on. And that was she had bought herself a birthday gift, and she had went to the, I guess, that little store in Orangeville, and she had bought that little nightgown, and that's what was missing.
The police told you she was found in her nightgown?
They found her in a nightgown.
So what do you think happened?
Somebody was there.
Do you think she could have let them in? Someone she knew?
You know what? At 9 o'clock at night, I don't think so. I don't think she will let somebody at 9 o'clock. Or she go into the door, I would say she would have put a house coat or something. I don't think, okay, it was hot, but I don't see Sonia. She's a type of person, like try that little, fancy nightgown going and enter the door.
So someone had access to the house.
Someone has to have access to the house.
Coming up, Sonia's mother tries to make sense of the evidence and shares some of her own suspicions. Sonia Varashin went missing at the end of August in 2010. Police believe she was attacked in her home, then moved to a rural area, where a week later, a dog walker discovers her body. We return now to Catherine McDonald with Who Killed Sonia?
Sonia Varashin was a pediatric nurse. She volunteered every summer at a camp for children with epilepsy. Her mother, Michelle, says Sonia cared deeply for the children she looked after, and they cared back.
There's a picture of the little girl there, and somebody will do
a drawing. Thank you. This picture to Sonia.
Yeah, from this kid, this kid. She worked in the burn unit a little bit too much. She worked everywhere. And she worked for Wonderland.
12 days after Sonia first vanished, Michelle had also invited me into her home.
Yeah.
They had just found Sonia's cat, Jasper, who had been missing since Sonia's disappearance.
She was very important to her. That was her baby.
A small piece of solace as they grieved Sonia's death.
Just survived on just hope.
We were lucky. They found her. We were lucky.
And Sonia is not the first child they've lost. An older brother, Vivian, who was killed in a car accident a year before Sonia was born. He was only 17 months old.
The day he died, Sonia born the same day, the same time. It's everything. The day he died, it was exactly the same.
Two losses now compounding their grief. memorial for Sonia was held that October. It was estimated that upwards of 700 people showed up to pay their respects. Sonia was cremated wearing her ballroom dancing shoes. Dancing, another one of her passions.
I feel like I've been robbed of someone important. I want them badly. I hope that if anyone knows anything, please, phone your local police or whoever, tell someone.
It leaves you feeling very vulnerable. I'm thinking it's what nurses do, but is the crime related to that? Is it someone has been following her? Is it someone been stalking her?
Among the mourners, Sonia's boyfriend, Ian Rushton, seemingly devastated. It was the first time Ian was being shown on TV. He stood out as one of the tallest men in the crowd. On September 9th, the day before the memorial, he posted a message to Sonia's memorial Facebook page. She would want everyone to remember her dancing and singing. It expresses how much she enjoyed life. I miss you so much. At the beginning, I remember asking you, is your daughter dating anyone? Is she married? And you said, yes, she has a boyfriend. You didn't believe he had anything to do with it.
That's right.
But did that change?
It changed. I said, Sean, it was about 4.5 kilometers from his house. And in that road, hardly people use it. And that was the road he used to go to work. And probably Sonia, if she was going there, she probably used it too. And to me, it's too close to comfort.
After your daughter was found, after she disappeared and then she was found dead, was he involved with your life? Did he call you? Was he?
Oh, he was around the house constantly and listening and watching and everything.
Investigators said to me they didn't have enough evidence to arrest anyone.
That's right. But I'm not going to point finger only at him. No.
Michelle described a dispute with some roofers who Sonia believed had inadvertently broken her patio table. An incident at Sonia's old job, her online dating.
It could be somebody else, and she could have been, like I said, she went on the online. I always tell her, Sonia, be very careful. And she always told me, no, when I meet somebody, we go always to a restaurant or something, a public place. But at that time, she never mentioned to me about meeting somebody else. Never did. Even if she knew he was going back home.
Despite speculation that Sonia's online dating may have played a factor in her murder, investigators say they analyzed Sonia's computers and phone records and determined that Sonia had not been active on an online dating site for the past year. I know the boyfriend lived in the general area where the body was found. What happens with him? Is he still a person of interest?
He's been investigated. He's been interviewed more than once, and until we solve this case, everybody's still, unless they can prove they were out of the country or they were in jail or something else that's can be proven. It's still open. It's still a case. We don't put the blinders on.
Okay. He's left the country, from what I
Yes,
understand.
that's right. Yeah. He left the country, sometime after he left, and like I said, he's been cooperative with us.
Took a polygraph test?
I won't get into the specifics of things, but there really is. At this stage of the game, is this time, there's not really any indication that he's responsible.
After Sonia went missing, I went to Ian Rushton's house to talk to him. I was not filming, and I did not report our conversation. I just wanted to hear his side. He knew he was under suspicion, and at the time he told me he was not ready to talk. Shortly after he moved back to the UK, and I had not spoken with him since. Rumor had it that he had gone off the grid, and that he was not reachable. Michelle says she stopped hearing from him. As the weeks went by without any charges being laid or any suspects being identified, the family made the difficult decision to speak out and ask for help.
The killer has taken something beautiful from our family, our friends, and from your community that can never be replaced. No information is too small or insignificant.
FBI agents were enlisted to create a criminal profile of the killer, but investigators released few specifics. They believed it was someone familiar with the town and the area where Sonia's body was discovered, likely a male suspect. Then, 8 months into the investigation, in the spring of 2011, after receiving hundreds of tips and conducting hundreds of interviews, police made an announcement.
The message today that we are projecting to the killer is we have your DNA, and it's only a matter of time before you will be caught.
Coming up, now that investigators say they have the killer's DNA, will they finally be able to lay charges? And one of the last people to see Sonia alive speaks publicly for the first time. 8 months into Sonia Varashin's murder investigation, police announced a huge break in the case. They say they have the killer's DNA. Now back to Catherine McDonald with Who Killed Sonia? So will be inserted in.
After announcing they had a sample of the killer's DNA, police said they had approached hundreds of men for DNA samples, hoping to get a match. Anyone Sonia would have come into contact with or met in the years before her murder, including Sonia's boyfriend or any other persons she may have dated. Around the same time that investigators began collecting people's DNA, in the spring of 2011, some media was reporting that Sonia's boyfriend, who had since moved to England, had been cleared.
Well, they took the DNA of all the people that were living in her area. So if it had been one of them, they would have found out, I guess, right away. But again, now they tell me the DNA is the mixture. See, who left the DNA? Exploring Sonia. But that's what I've been asking Sean. Do you really have the DNA?
Do you have the killer's DNA?
You know what? I know that that's been released in the past, that we have the DNA, and officers have come out and said, we've got the DNA, we've got the DNA. I'm not going to be that bold to say that, you know, I look at it as we have DNA, and we're trying to locate the owner of that DNA. Let's put it that way.
Is it good DNA? Is it usable DNA?
It's usable DNA.
Wanting to know more, I asked Sean again about the DNA. If you have the DNA, then haven't you been able to eliminate some people?
Obviously, we compare people from, you know, that we interview, we compare their DNA to the DNA we found, but that's not the end all. That doesn't mean they didn't have anything to do with this.
In 2014, police released a second surveillance video showing 2 men in a gazebo close to where Sonia's car was found. But once the individuals were investigated, the police determined they did not have anything to do with the case. And some Orangeville residents questioned why the video was not released sooner, since investigators had had it in their possession for some time.
So why did it take them so long to release it?
Wish it could have been 4 years earlier instead of 4 years later.
I think the complication in the whole thing, it was 2 townships. You had the Orangeville police, and you had Caledon, because she was living in Orangeville. So they want to take over the OPP, Orangeville police. And Caledon, they said, well, you know what, we found a body that's OPP territory. That was OPP territory.
Even back in 2015, Michelle was frustrated with the way the case was being handled.
I'm thinking about not handled properly. And I'm thinking that they need a less of it.
And frustrated with how little the family was being told.
I don't know nothing. The only thing I know is where they found our body.
Are you frustrated by that?
You bet believe I am frustrated. I think I have the right to know how she died.
You have the body, right?
Yeah.
What did the postmortem tell you?
That is not something I'm going to get into.
You've never released that?
No.
To this day, the family has not been told how Sonia died. I mean, they're trying to get tips. They say they're still getting tips.
Okay. I said, we're repeating the same thing. Every year, the same thing. I said, we need a little spice.
But that's what Sean said to me. He said, unfortunately, I can't say everything I want to say because they have to hold back some information.
Yeah, but you can add something to it, like, to make the people think.
It's very frustrating for the family. As frustrated as we are as investigators, I can't even imagine how frustrating it is for the Verashin family. The details that I know make up the evidence of the case, and for me to tell them certain things would be irresponsible.
How upsetting is that for you that someone could get away with this?
I probably will.
You think they will?
I think so.
But then, after years of being out of touch, news Michelle was never expecting. Ian Rushton responds to our request for an interview. The man Sonia had been dating at the time of her murder is willing to talk.
Just before we start, I just need lock my dogs away so they don't bark at anybody who I trust.
The man questioned repeatedly by police about Sonia's murder. The man Sonia's friends say had broken her heart because he was moving back to the UK. It's the first time Ian has spoken publicly about Sonia.
Everybody's first thought is the boyfriend. It's somebody close to it. And that was equally as terrifying.
After the break, Ian's side of the story. That's coming up. No charges have been laid in Sonia Verashin's murder, but for years, suspicions have swirled around her boyfriend. Now, he's telling his side of the story. We go back to Catherine McDonald for the conclusion of who killed Sonia.
Ian Rushton confirms that he met Sonia online, that they started dating in the spring of 2009. He says they hit it off right away.
I like outdoors. I like walking, hiking. So she suggested we go on a hike, which we did. We went up towards Blue Mountain, where the ski resort is, and we went for a walk there.
Contrary to what Sonia's mother, Michelle, has always believed, Ian says Sonia knew about his family from the start, knew that he already had kids, that he had a wife that he was separated from. Ian says he had told Sonia around May that he would be leaving, that his work was not renewing his contract in Canada, and that he was choosing to return to the UK to be closer to his kids.
Those things we didn't talk about, so we didn't really talk about my family and what I was doing. We sort of, we accepted that I was going back to the UK and what would be would be.
One of Sonia's friends says the couple had broken up several months before Sonia's murder, as soon as Sonia learned of Ian's impending departure. But Ian says they were still boyfriend and girlfriend, just trying to make the most of the time they had left together.
I think she was upset, but I can't remember us falling out about it or there being any tears. It was just, this is what we're going to do, or this is what I'm going to do.
The Saturday before Sonia went missing, they went on a hike, Ian snapping photos along the way, the last photos of Sonia alive. On the Sunday, he says she'd given him a ride downtown, helped him with some packing.
Yeah, Sonia headed home. She asked if I was coming over for something to eat. That night, I said, no, I think I need to carry on packing. So I just stayed at my house and carried on packing. Spoke to Sonia. I think 9 or 10 o'clock we spoke on the phone. And then that was it. So that was the last time I spoke to her. She was normal. She was getting ready for work the next day. She'd been practicing her French. Yeah, just a normal song.
Then the news that Sonia was missing, then murdered.
It was horrendously upsetting because somebody I cared for had been murdered. And then scary, tremendously scary, because everybody's first thought is the boyfriend. It's somebody close to it, and that was equally as terrifying. And at that point, it's like the only thing I can do is sit there and tell the truth. They wanted to see me work boot. We sat down and some not nice interviews, lie detector tests, DNA, whatever I could do to help them understand that it wasn't me. I did.
But Ian says police never asked to check his house or see his personal laptop. When asked about this, the OPP's Sean Glassford would only say, "It would not be appropriate for me to comment on what was or wasn't done on an active ongoing investigation."
I've got nothing to hide about what's going on.
As the investigation progressed, Ian completed his move back to the UK, where he still lives to this day.
So I think after 2011, I've probably lost touch with the family at that point. Probably not spoken or messaged since then. And at that point, I was probably not on social media. Found my photo and, like the online investigators. I found some links and photos to myself. So I got some messages. So I closed everything down at that point.
People trying to point the finger at you, people writing you. What was that like to have that happen?
Yeah, not very nice. I try not to go and look up what is going on and try not to read messages that people put on social media. I try. I don't respond. Try not. And then you wrote me.
And you remembered me?
Yeah, I remember you turning up at the door.
Sonia's unsolved murder feels like it's been following him ever since. Ian says he got stopped at the airport on a trip back to Canada.
I called and asked the police at that point if my name was on some list, and they said no. Which obviously is.
Or when he recently took up clay pigeon shooting as a hobby and had to apply for a gun license. He says an officer told him he got flagged when they ran his name through Interpol for the background check.
He said, I can't show you the report that's come back. He said, but the basics of it are that you have got no connection with this case. I said, well, that's the first time anybody's actually sat there and told me. Because I'm in the police or the BP, whoever's been with them, never got in touch with me and said, you're no longer a person. Other than seeing it on TV, when somebody said it.
Since leaving Canada, Ian has reunited with his wife. His kids are now grown up, and he has largely tried to keep this period of his life private.
10 years ago, and I can't continue to miss somebody, but she should still be alive and should still be enjoying their life.
And yet, Sonia's case is always there, lurking in the shadows.
So, because it's the 10th anniversary, I'm expecting a knock on the door at some point. It'll be the police. I think the police will knock on the door. They'll want to ask. I don't think they'll want to ask any more questions, but sit down to see whether they can jog me memory on anything. I don't know. I don't know what more. If people ask me questions, I don't know what more at this point I could remember. They would go.
Ian says he doesn't know why anyone would hurt Sonia.
Just hopeful that this show going out ends this. Just something to put that final piece in the puzzle for the police to get the person responsible. It's not going to stop the pain for the family, but at least, again, there's some closure. It comes to an end.
But just imagine that arrest if you get that call. Are you starting to lose faith that will ever happen, or do you think you're going to get that call?
The way that crime happened, the way it's being done. Okay, they said the murderer always leave one little piece he forgot. But they say they cannot find that little piece. So I don't think they will solve because it was almost a perfect crime.
There was no reason for someone to kill her that you can think of.
No.
Do you think that whoever did this could have attacked another woman? Do you think there might be related cases?
We think about it all the time. We have lots of communication back and forth with various police services about different cases and about different people. To this day, I think as of right now, our tips are well over 1,500 tips, which is a lot of tips. Sonia Varashin was a 42-year-old single female who lived by herself.
The OPP has even created a YouTube video to help bring attention to Sonia's case.
Sonia was targeted. However, she may have not known who did this to her, but they knew who she was. And it's important to keep the message going that we're not stopping. We're going to keep investigating until we can solve this case and bring somebody to justice who did this.
Good sister. Yeah, she was good. She listened, and if you had any issues, you go and talk to her about it. We did a ski trip out to listen. She knew all the ski runs and stuff like that. It was a good time. Oh, it's tough, but you just try to remember all the good things, all the memories.
Once a week, Viv says he visits Sonia's memorial at the site where her body was found. And there's other spots where he can honor his big sister. At the summer camp where she volunteered, where they built a cottage in her memory. And up by Collingwood, at the Blue Mountain Ski Resort.
It's a memorial for people that passed away. So you can you donate and you get a metal sign with her name on it. And we actually put one of her favorite sayings on it. It said "one more run," because she always looked at, it's just one more run, and you just ready to go home, but she wanted to take one more run down the ski hill. So we had that done for her.
Oh, my ski girl. Oh, she loves ski. She will be on the mountain every day, 365 days a year.
And Viv said she always would say, one more run.
Oh, yes. At the Collingwood, that's what is writing there. One more run. I wish you'd be here today. Marry, have children, grandchildren.
So she left a really big hole in your life.
Oh, she did. Oh, yeah. Yeah, she did.
Sonia Varashin's family will continue to push for answers.